Teacher what? What we call teacher? Ustad?
In teacher, we call sometimes Maulana, sometimes Sheikh, depend on different culture and different parts.
Oh, okay. But how about in Malaysia?
For teacher, Malaysia they call Ustad.
Ustad.
If you go to Gulf country, they call Sheikh.
Okay. Ustad Zakir Naik, you're a doctor.
I'm a medical doctor originally by profession.
Seriously?
Yes, my father was a doctor, my brother was a doctor. So we are from a family of doctors.
Medical doctor?
Medical doctor, yes.
Okay. What specialization?
I did my general physician.
Sorry?
I did my general physician. I was a general physician.
Oh, general doctor. How can you be a ustad or a teacher than a doctor?
I was inspired by Sheikh Ahmed Didad. When I met Sheikh Ahmed Didad in 1987, when I was in the second year of my medical college, I was inspired by him.
Okay.
And then I started doing dawah, I started preaching, and that's how I chose to become a doctor, because I felt being a medical doctor is the best profession in life to serve humanity. It is a good profession. But when I found a better profession, that treating a person spiritually is far superior than treating a patient medically or physically.
Okay.
That's how I changed from a doctor of a body to doctor of a soul.
Okay. And now you're not treating any patient anymore?
No.
Never? How many years?
Maybe I practiced only for a very short period. Maybe I started the foundation in 1991. So while I was in medical college, I started doing dawah.
Okay.
But I practiced for a very short time. And then full time I became
Dawah.
Yes. Initially it was 50% medical, 50% dawah. Then became 2 hours medical, remaining dawah. Then became full time dawah.
Okay. This is your home?
Yes. This is my son stays here, Farik. So I stay in the next apartment.
Oh, the next apartment like this?
Same.
Okay. Who do you live with?
I live with my wife.
And your son?
My son and his wife lives here. Me
Okay.
and my wife live in the next apartment.
Okay. Dr. Zakir Naik, I am very amazed with your works. I watched your video several times, even before I'm Muslim. Sometimes I agree with you, sometimes not. Sometimes I hate you, sometimes I love you.
That was before or now?
Before.
Oh. Now you hate me.
No, I love you. I am very amazed. Your home is very, very humble. Your home is very...
Simple.
Yeah,
Yes.
very
It's
simple.
the same, it's a replica.
And I don't expect to be here and meet you in person. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Zakir Naik, what does your typical day looks like here in Malaysia?
Typical day, when do you start the day is important. What time of the day you start the day? Of course, in the morning, mashallah, I'm get up for tahajjud. If you want to start the day from there, actually my day, I don't know where to start the day from. Because on average, I sleep for about 3.5 hours a day. So maybe in the night when I sleep for approximately, you could say 15-20 minutes, then I get up for tahajjud. And I pray tahajjud for average about 2 hours. Then with that, I pray the Fajr Salah. Then I have my breakfast. I do some work for half an hour, then sleep for about 3 hours.
Okay.
Maybe anywhere between 8 and 12:30. I sleep for about 3 hours. Sometimes 3.5 hours. On average, I sleep for about 3.5 hours a day. Sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours, sometimes 4.5 hours. On average, I sleep for about 3.5 hours a day. This is not good. So I don't want other human beings to copy this. I'm a medical doctor. For a normal human being, he requires about 7 to 9 hours sleep. Average 8 hours. I'm a medical doctor, you know in the past. So for a human being to function normally, he should minimum sleep for 7 hours. There is less than 1% of the human beings who sleep less than 7 hours and can function normally.
Okay.
People who sleep less than 7 hours for many days, they can't function normally.
Okay.
Only 1% who have a particular type of gene, or maybe 0.5%, sorry. So 1 in 200 people who have a particular type of gene can sleep up to 6 hours and function normally.
Okay.
Once in a while, no problem. Continuously for months together, a normal human being cannot function normally unless he sleeps for 7 hours a day average. He may sleep together, he may sleep sometime in the afternoon, but totally in 24 hours, he should sleep for 7 to 9 hours. Minimum 7 hours is the requirement.
Okay.
So there is 0.5%, 1 in 200 people who can function normally with sleeping for 6 hours a day. And less than 6 hours, as you keep on decreasing, 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million, keeps on. Otherwise, there are many medical problems. But I, by grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rarely do I sleep more than 4.5 hours. But the average is when I'm at home. When I'm traveling, sometimes it becomes less also. The average becomes sometimes less.
Yeah.
So then after I get up, of course, I pray my Duha Salah, Salatul Duha, which is better to pray after the midpoint of sunrise and highest point.
Okay.
So after I get up, maybe at 12 o'clock, I pray my Salatul Duha, and then I have a bath, and then I offer my Duhar Salah, and then from Duhar Salah, normally depending on the work I'm involved in, activity, etc.
How often you do dakwah in another country or in this town?
Dawa in a country physically or online? If it's online, I'm doing 24/7.
You're doing online?
Online by recording is 24/7. Online by my social media, by my Peace TV.
Okay.
We have a Peace TV channel, 24/7. There are 4 satellite channels: Peace TV English, Peace TV Urdu, Peace TV Bangla, Peace TV Chinese. Peace TV English has a viewership of approximately 100 million viewers. Peace TV Urdu has 80 million viewers. Peace TV Bangla has about 50 million viewers. And Peace TV Chinese 20 million viewers in Mandarin language.
Okay.
We have 4 satellite channels, all put together about 200.
Almost all language.
No, 4 languages.
4 language.
Among the top 6 languages, English is number 1, then Chinese, if you want to count, and then would be Urdu. So top 3 languages we have, and Bangla, which is the 6th largest language in the world. So we have top 3 and 6th largest language in the world, covering 200 to 250 million viewers all over the world. So this is one of our largest reach, which is on the satellite. Then on the Facebook, mashallah, I have a following of about 24.8 million.
Okay.
Followers on the Facebook. So that is around the clock, 24/7. Then on the YouTube, there is more than 4 million, and on the other social media.
Okay.
So if you're talking how much dawah I do in other countries, if it's social media and satellite, it's 24/7.
Okay.
24/7. If you ask me
Offline?
If you ask me live sessions, I have normally have previously asked for once a week.
Once a week, okay.
Now once a fortnight. If I'm in Malaysia. If I'm not in Malaysia, and now my traveling in the last year and this year has become more than before. So when I'm in Malaysia on the 1st and the 3rd Saturday of every month, there's a live questionnaire session, Ask Dr. Zakir, which is for approximately 2 hours to 2 hours 15 minutes. There are more than 20,000 questions that come in a week. My team reads about half of them, or maybe 25%. They read thousands of questions, give me 100 questions, out of which I select about 15 to 20 and reply.
Oh, you have a lot of questions every day.
Yes. And the alternate week, my son handles, his name is Farik, Ask Sheikh Farik.
Oh, okay.
So he handles on the 2nd and the 4th Saturday, if you're in Malaysia. If you're not in Malaysia, then it doesn't take place. So for previously it started at the time of COVID, when we did not travel for about 2 years. For about 2 years we did not travel, so we had this regularly. But then we started traveling, and now because of our travels, now, of course, you asked me that how often do I travel? This year, I'll be traveling to approximately, as per the schedule, 15 countries.
15 countries.
Some countries maybe twice.
Okay.
So total I've got 15 tours of mine, out of which most of them are, some may be private visits for Dawa, but not public lecture. Dawa, but private visits, consultation. So out of these 15 countries, maybe 12, 13 countries would be lecture.
Okay.
So as of this year, on average, 1 country a year, maybe for 2 weeks to 3 weeks to a month. This year, on average, I'm going to stay in Malaysia for about 3 months. 9 months I'll be traveling, giving talks. So out of the 15 countries I'll be traveling this year, scheduled so far. So far already traveled to about 7, 8 countries already. The remaining would be there in the second half of the year, and I'll come to Indonesia very soon. So on average, you could say I'm traveling to maybe 1 country a month, on average, for Dawa.
Okay.
On average. Now, it may change. Last year it was, before COVID time it was 0. When I was in India, I had to travel to about 7, 8 countries in a year. Now it is more.
Do you have any favorite spot in your home that make you inspire for your lecture?
There is no special spot per se, but the balcony that is there has a good view. So normally when I do dua, there are some times of the day in which dua is more accepted.
Okay.
One is tahajjud. For the best is in Arafah.
Oh.
It takes place very soon. Arafah. And then you have got Laylatul Qadr, which is last 10 nights. One of the last 10 nights can be odd nights, and the last 10 nights can be 25th, 27th, 29th, can be 27th. We don't know. But these 10 nights, when you pray in Laylatul Qadr and Arafah, these two are the highest. Then, of course, in Tahajjud, the last 1/3 night, when you pray. Then during Friday, the 1 hour before the Maghrib Salah, between Asr and Maghrib, Allah says they accept the prayer. So that time I sit, it's a similar replica. I sit in the balcony, just observing the sunset and close to the facing the Qibla. So that time I do dua. So that's the time when, you can see the sunset.
That's why the view of your balcony is a masjid.
MashaAllah, the view is masjid. From this masjid, from that side also masjid.
Oh,
here, here you have the metal mosque, Tunku Zainul Abidin. There you have the Putra mosque. So if you see from my bedroom, from the hall balcony, you see the metal mosque or the iron mosque or Zainul Abidin mosque. From my bedroom, we see the Putra mosque.
Okay.
Which is
the view is masjid.
On average in a day, you were saying what's my routine in the day. On average in a day, I spend 5 to 5.5 hours for Salah. So the major activity in my day, more than sleeping, is Salah. On average, every Salah, you could, from the time I start doing wudu and I go to the mosque, my mosque is in the same complex where I live, Tamara, pray my sunnah, pray the dua and come back. It takes for an average 40 minutes for me. From the time I do wudu, I go, I pray, I do dua, come up to 40 minutes average approximately. Some is 35, some is 45, depending upon the number of sunnah that is there. So 5 multiplied by 40 is about 200 minutes. Is this? Then there is Salatul Duha, another 20 minutes we can add, and then there is Tahajjud for 2 hours. So all put together, it's approximately 5 to 5.5 hours in a day. I spend only on Salah, including Tahajjud. So my major activity, if you ask me which is my activity maximum, as one particular activity, it is Salah. If you count the time of wudu and going to the part of Salah. So 5.5 hours in a day I spend for Salah, and about 3.5 hours for sleeping, and the rest of the time taking up with the routine of eating, bathing, etc. The rest, approximately in a day, I spend 12 hours for dawah. 12 hours for dawah, and maybe 1 or 2 hours for the family, and the remaining couple of hours, for eating food, having a bath, etc. So on average, it is 12 hours dawah, couple of hours for the family and for my routine activities, 5.5 hours for Salah, and 3.5 hours for sleeping. So this is the rough bifurcation of my daily activity.
Your daily activity. Okay. I wonder why you live so simple. I think you are the big Ustad international. It's not hard to getting any money for the dawah or something.
No, see, there's a difference between money for dawah and money personally. I don't know who's the best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me a lot. I never use dawah money on my personal expenses at all.
Really?
But Allah has blessed me with my own private businesses. On average, in a month, I give 2 hours for my private businesses. About 2 hours. Sorry, 2 days approximately. So maybe a small percentage of my, or you can say average, maybe half an hour. If you want to take on average, I don't know, half an hour every day I don't give for my business. But if you add up all put together, it may be about 2 days, maybe 10 hours if you count as working. So 2 days in a month I give for dawah. I mean for business, sorry. So Allah has blessed me that I've got various private businesses. So I'm a part-time businessman also. Part-time business.
But why are you not getting any money from your dawah? I think...
Let me ask you, you're asking me on my living, then I'll come to that. I cannot answer all together, correct?
Okay.
So you ask me that why I live simply. Don't I get money from dawah? Dawah I get a lot. But I don't use a single cent. I don't take salary for dawah.
Yeah.
I don't charge for my lecture. I pay for my own ticket when I travel. I pay for my own hotel. Unless the organizers force me with the hotel. Ticket also, unless it's the government. Unless the government calls me, I pay for all my travels. As far as dawah is concerned, it's allowed to take salary for dawah, I should. But I don't take a single penny salary. I donate. I'll come to that later on. When I travel, anyone calls me, I pay for my own ticket.
Yeah, I heard from Hani.
I pay for my own hotel. No problem. When my crew comes with me, my crew pays from the trust, not from
It's not hard to.
But when I travel, I pay for myself, and I don't allow anyone to charge any ticket for hearing my lecture.
Okay.
Because I don't say it's haram for charging money, but I want to get the higher reward. So regarding my simple, Allah has blessed me that I've got many businesses, about 9 or 10 businesses I've got. In these businesses, I give my brain, I give my idea, and the business runs on the auto mode. And alhamdulillah, in a year, we make, mashallah, millions of dollars in a year.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So why you live so simple?
That I'll come to it later on. Because I believe that I tell my son that when you do business, even he's a part-time businessman. He doesn't do business.
This is a part-time businessman. Full-time of dakwah?
So full-time. I tell my son that when you do business, you should make Allah your business partner. Make Allah your business partner. And when you make Allah your business partner, you can't make him a small partner. Can make him, but preferably make him a bigger partner, correct? If I make Allah a partner in my business, it's allowed. I tell him, make him a bigger partner. So whatever you earn every month, every year, give minimum 51% in charity. This is for my son because he's new now. For me, I'm a veteran, I give more. Don't ask me how much I give. So I tell him, whatever you earn, whether $1,000 a month or $100,000 or in a year $1 million, whatever you earn, whatever profit you get in all businesses put together, give minimum 51% of your profit in charity for Allah. For me, I'm veteran. I give a lot. Don't ask me how much I give. I cannot be the biggest donor in the world. I want to be the biggest percentage donor. So the rule is that Allah looks at how much percentage you donate, not the amount you donate. So for example, if a poor man who earns $1,000 gives $100 as charity every month, he is giving 10% of his income. There's a person who earns $1 billion and every month gives $1 million. He's giving 0.01%.
Okay.
0.1%, sorry. So he's giving 10%, the poor man, the rich man is giving 0.1%. So the poor man for his $100 charity will get 100 times more blessings, more sawab than the person who gives $1 million because he's earning billion. So he's giving 0.1% of his charity, this one is giving 10%. So therefore I tell my son, Allah will look at the percentage of your charity, not at the amount. So that's the reason my son, since he started doing a few years back, part-time business, I told him minimum 51%. For me, so the reason we live simple, because the Prophet lived simple. It is sunnah to live simple. If you earn a lot of money, and if you live luxuriously, as long as it is not extravagance, it is permitted. But I have a simple car, simple Toyota Innova car I got. Why? Because I prefer giving charity, helping other dais, helping other Muslim organizations, helping my own organization. Wow. So because of that, I restrict my requirement. I can live in a mansion if I want. Allah has blessed me. Yeah. Not from dawah money, from my personal money. Business money, not from dawah. I don't earn a single penny anywhere. If you do Islamic work, Islam permits you, it is mubah, optional, but not to take it mustahab. So for all my dawah activities, I live simple because my reasoning is that if you live simple, like for me and my wife, to live in that apartment per month, we spend only $500. How much?
$500.
Only.
Okay.
Only. $500 only about 2,000 ringgit.
7,5 juta.
Very cheap. $500 for me and my wife to live. Per month, only $500. Which is, for people coming, guests, giving them food, having a food, electricity, that's it. But when I travel, I may require $5,000, $2,000 by plane. That is from my dawah, my personal money, but not it's for sake of Allah I'm traveling.
Okay.
So that's not my personal expense. It is from my money, but that I see that this is for me, for dawah activity.
Okay.
That's also part of charity to Allah. That's separate. You understand, no? So when I travel, it is not for my personal thing. I'm traveling for dawah. So I spend it, but from my business as a dawah money. My personal money, $500 is sufficient for the day-to-day activity. There may be an emergency, I may require more. That is so that I've made my life simple. So if I have excellent, then I require more money. I have a simple car, so my cost is less. So that I can get more sawab. So my lifestyle is very simple. Okay. Even in Bombay, even here. Here at least it is, mashallah, more beautiful than Bombay. Here the land, here the apartment is cheaper as compared to Bombay. Bombay is very expensive. So in Bombay, we had a simple house. I could afford a Rolls Royce. In Bombay, I could afford here, but no. We prefer a simple Toyota car, which is not very expensive. So that we lead a life, yet if we compare our lifestyle to the Sahaba's lifestyle, it is very luxurious. Their life was more simple. So I live simple because I want to emulate my Prophet. I cannot reach that level. He was more simple than this. He did more charity than us. We are trying to come close to the Prophet. If you see the lifestyle of the Khulafa Rashidin, Hazrat Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, when the Prophet asked people to contribute for the jihad, Hazrat Umar, may Allah be pleased, gave 50% of his wealth. The Prophet asked him, what did you leave behind? I said, I left 50% wealth back from 50% of money. Very good. Hazrat Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, comes. He gives the wealth. How much have you left from? Nothing. I have given 100%. I have left behind Allah and His Rasul. So we cannot be like Hazrat Abu Bakr.
Okay.
So we're trying to, so we give majority, mashallah. I give much more than my son. My son gives 51% of what he earns. And Allah has blessed us. Allah gives barakah. Whatever business we do, Allah gives us profit. So, but that profit we share in the way of Allah. So quite a lot of the funding of the activities of dawah of my own organization. Regarding my dawah organization, of course, there are many people supporting. What is the support that goes to the dawah activity? Not for my personal.
Okay.
Not even for my personal dawah. For my personal dawah, I spend from myself. My family and what dawah we do. And then we even donate to the organization. We donate to the organization so that we get sawab.
Okay. So from Allah, give to Allah.
Yes. It's Allah's wealth. 100% is Allah.
Oh,
we are just custodians.
Very great.
Yes.
Oh, what is your hobby beside your dawah and your personal thing?
Dawah is number one of mine. Number one is dawah. Dawah is, of course.
Dawah is your life and your hobby.
Of course. Our main activity is, of course, Salah is part of it. And, with Salah, we get the inspiration, we get the passion, and the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Sport.
As far as sports is concerned, when I was in school, I was quite active in sports. I was a long distance runner. I was a gold medalist in 10 kilometers on a state level. So I'm a long distance runner. 10 kilometers, I was a gold medalist, 5 kilometers. My son is a sprinter. He's got gold medal in 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. He's a short distance runner. I'm a long distance runner. Okay. Of course, I was involved in many of the sports, but my son is more than me. My son loves football. He's a black belt in karate, black belt in taekwondo, black belt in judo. He loves motorcycle. I even asked to ride a motorcycle a lot before. He loves that a lot. He does more than me now. So of course, because of time constraint, now we do more of touring, but less of the sports. I don't know. It's been years since I played football. I love football a lot. So my son plays. Okay, sometime here and there when we went to the World Cup, little bit of here and there. But my son yet plays football, mashallah. He plays. One of his main sport is football, swimming, and motorcycling. So all these were my favorite sports. So it has, but he has excelled more than me.
Okay.
In all these sports, mashallah.
Okay. Do you live in Malaysia?
Yes.
What did you feel for Malaysia?
I feel amongst all the countries in the world today, all the countries, according to me today, Malaysia is the best country that is available. Not 100% ideal.
Compared to your own country, India or Mumbai?
Yes. For me as a Muslim, one of the best countries that is available. It may not be 100%. But amongst all the countries, every country has certain pros and cons. Amongst all the countries, according to me, the best country to live for a Muslim today.
Why?
I mean, there are many reasons. Many reasons. Number one, that you should understand that most of the Muslim countries, they're controlled by non-Muslim countries. Most of the Muslim countries. There are very few countries in the world which are not controlled by non-Muslim countries, unfortunately. So Malaysia is one of the countries which is not controlled by Muslim countries, number one. But number two, of course, that in Malaysia, Islam is the federal religion. In Malaysia, approximately 63% of the population are Muslims. Correct? In other countries, the population is 80% Muslim, 90% Muslim. Yes, yet the constitution is secular. And you know the country's name. I don't want to name that. So all the countries in which Muslims are majority, more than 80%, they aren't Islamic countries. By constitution, they're secular countries. Many countries. Some countries are Islamic. Many countries like Bangladesh, like Indonesia, they are not by constitution Islamic country based on the Sharia. Some countries are. Okay? So in Indonesia, though the population is not more than 80%, it's 62%, 63%.
Sorry?
Population of the Muslims.
No.
In Malaysia, the population of the Muslims is about 63%.
Oh, yeah.
Out of it. In Indonesia, it is at 87%. I have not checked up the latest.
90.
Maybe 90.
95. Until 95. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it's not 95 for sure. It's no. Anyway, if you want, I can Google and check. I'll tell you. It cannot be 95. Impossible.
But the largest Muslim in this world is Indonesia, right?
I'll tell you the latest because I checked up long back.
86%. 86%.
I told you 87. Huh? I told you 87. No, wait. I told you because I checked up, it was 87% when I came last
87.
in Indonesia in 2017.
87. Oh, 87.
So you are wrong. So I know more than you about Indonesia. Correct?
I'm sorry.
87%.
Forgive me.
87% of
87.
Muslims.
Okay.
87.
But this is largest.
So let me finish. We were talking about percentage,
Okay.
not talking about largest. In terms of number of Muslims in the world, theoretically or in statistics, Indonesia is number one. But practically, I feel India is more. Indian government claims that there are 14.3% Muslims, about 211 million Muslims. According to me, it may be about 270 million. So according to me, practically the country which has maximum number of Muslims in the world is India. But theoretically, it comes number 3. Indonesia, maybe total population is maybe 260, 70 million, out of which maybe 240 or 250 million, exact, close to it, will be Muslims. Then comes Pakistan, about 220 million Muslims. Then comes India, 211 Muslims officially. But unofficially, I feel that the Muslims in India, they are minority. The government says 14.3%. I claim they'll be somewhere close to 20%. Correct? Some people say more. So according to me, the country which has the maximum number of Muslims is India. Then would be Indonesia, then would be Pakistan. But even if you agree, in terms of percentage, there are Muslim countries which have got 100%. In terms of percentage, number one is Maldives, 100% Muslim. 100% Sunni Muslim.
Okay.
Maximum. But in terms of numbers, it's very small. Very few population. So coming back to it, so most of the countries that are more than 80% Muslims, they are not based on the Quran Sunnah. They're called a secular country. Same thing with Bangladesh. When Bangladesh is close to 87% Muslims, it's a secular country. So coming back to Malaysia, though it is not a vast majority, it's a majority. It's not a vast majority, means more than two-thirds, more than three-fourths, sorry. So Malaysia is 63% Muslim, but Islam is a federal religion. It has its own constitution, own rules. It supports Islam. So number one, I like Malaysia as a federal. Islam is a federal religion. May not be having the full Sharia, correct, but close to the Islamic values. Number two, it's not controlled by any foreign countries.
Okay.
Number three, it's not in the war zone. And many of these benefits even come to Indonesia to a great extent. It's not in the war zone because main war zone is the Middle East. There's war going on in Syria, Yemen, Palestine. So this is away from the war zone, number three. Number four, the economy of Malaysia is very good. Number five, it is quite an economical, means the cost of living in Malaysia is much lesser as compared to the Western country or compared to the Gulf country. Cost of living. Then number six, here the Islamic values are very high. For example, the Islamic financial system, economic system is one of the best in the world. Not ideal, not 100% correct, but the best. So in all the world you count, in volume of currency, money, Saudi Arabia is number one, Malaysia number two. But in terms of facility of Islamic banking, for example, the Islamic takaful, Islamic banking, you want to give income tax, one of the reasons. The income tax you give if you are giving a personal income tax, if you give zakat, it gets deducted directly. Even takaful, the Islamic insurance. You give provident fund, you can say, I want Islamic way. So in living here, the Islamic system, you can follow Islam much easier in Malaysia than other countries of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, there are other countries. So in terms of Islamic economics, in terms of Islamic living,
Okay.
a lot of benefits is there. For example, the system that is the mosques are controlled by the government. There are other countries doing that, but all put together, these are the advantages. And as I told you, the tax advantage is very few countries have this. That you pay a zakat to one of the government firm designated, each state has. Then if suppose you earn $1 million and you have to give suppose $100,000 hypothetically as income tax or $200,000 income tax. You give that $200,000 as zakat, zero income tax.
Oh.
That means you're doing your religious duty. But for companies, it's different. Company, you cannot give all your zakat. It's only for private. Company, you can give only 2.5%. So these facilities are not there. So in terms, like for example, like the city I'm living, the full country is not Sharia compliant, but the Putrajaya where I live is Sharia compliant to a great extent. There's no alcohol here. There is no dance club here. There's no nightlife here. So Putrajaya per se is one of the Sharia compliant cities. Not 100%. Not 100%.
Okay.
But you can't have alcohol here, you can't get poke. If you outside Putrajaya, you will get. You understand, no?
Okay.
And then there's no nightlife, there's no discotheque, there's no, so it is more Sharia compliant.
Okay.
The full of Malaysia is not. But the cities which are in which there are more number of non-Muslims and is more commercial capital like Kuala Lumpur or Penang may not have this Sharia compliant. But again, in all these cities also, a Muslim cannot enter. Cannot go to alcohol bar.
Okay.
A non-Muslim can go. So all these rules are good for the Muslims.
Okay.
They may not be following it. So all these rules. So this is an added attraction. Then besides that, if you see that in Malaysia, you are proud to be a Muslim. There are very few countries, Muslim countries in the world, which can fight for their rights. Like in Malaysia, today, if I want to raise my voice, protest for Palestine, I can do. There are many Muslim countries you can do, many you cannot do. But the level of Malaysia is very high compared to other Muslim countries.
Oh.
Correct?
Okay.
Even Indonesia, you protest. Very good. Alhamdulillah. Very good. But the level of Malaysia is higher. For example, the Prime Minister of Malaysia is one of the few countries, one of the few Muslim countries in the world who openly supports Palestine. You understand? And he openly supports even Hamas, the political wing, saying that they are resistance fighters. They are not terrorists. Which Muslim country does that openly? Very few may be doing, but to the level which the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, goes out and supports for Palestine cause. Even under pressure of the foreign countries, even under the pressure of America, he doesn't buckle. So in Malaysia, we can protest freely as a Muslim without being afraid. In many of the countries, I don't want to name, most of the Muslim countries, you cannot protest even in favor of Palestine. Do you know that? I don't want to name, I don't want to get political now. So Malaysia, you're proud to be a Muslim. In Malaysia, you are proud
Why
to
Muslim countries
practice
don't
your
unite
deen.
against Israel?
That's the reason I've traveled to so many countries in the world. More than 50 countries, to many of the Muslim countries. That's the reason when I did Hijrah from India in 2016, I chose Malaysia as the best destination. So therefore I say that Malaysia is one of the best countries for a Muslim to settle, seeing all the pros and cons. It's not 100% perfect, but amongst the available countries in the world, the more than 200 countries that are there,
This is the best one.
it is the best according to me.
Okay.
And I can give a lecture on that, which I don't intend doing now.
Doctor, I want to ask you, you came from India,
Yes.
raised from India, but some people in India and the government said, yes, I'm sorry for that, you're an extremist. How do you feel about that?
First, you should define what's the meaning of an extremist.
What is the
If
extremist means?
If extremist means, I tell to people, I am an extremist.
Huh?
I am an extremist. I'm extremely kind, I'm extremely loving, I'm extremely honest, I'm extremely charitable. Extremist means a person who follows. So a Muslim should be an extremist to be a practicing Muslim. Extremist as far as following Quran and Sunnah.
Okay.
You cannot say I will follow part of the Quran and not. So I'm an extremist in being extremely kind, extremely loving, extremely just, extremely honest, extremely charitable. What's wrong in being extremely charitable? Is it wrong? See, I give more charity, correct? I'm extremely kind, I'm extremely loving. You should not be extreme in the wrong direction.
Okay.
So if extremist means following a particular act extremely, I'm an extremist Muslim, yes. You cannot be, you have to follow the Quran extremely. If you follow Islam partly, you're not a good Muslim. You'll be a part Muslim. You'll be so if you're a good Muslim, if Allah says pray 5 times, I have to pray 5. I don't know. I'll pray 4 times. Okay, then there are some salah which says if you pray more, tahajjud better, not fard. If you pray salatul duha better, so I'm an extremist. So besides the 5 times salah, I even pray tahajjud. I even pray salatul duha. I even pray sunnat muakkada. So the first salah, 5 times is 17 rakah. 2, 4, 4, then 3, then 4. 17. Then 3 witr. You can pay 1, you can pay 1. So it becomes 20. Then there's sunnat muakkada. The important sunnah, more important sunnah, highly recommended sunnah. That's another 12 rakah. Then there's recommended sunnah, sunnat ghair muakkada. That's 10. Then the salatul duha, which is 4 rakat. Then there is a 8 rakat tahajjud. Then 3 rakat witr, put together 11. All put together is 54 rakat. Every day I pray 54 minimum. I'm an extremist. Minimum 54. I may pay extra, like Tahiyatul Masjid, entering the mosque. I may do wudu and pray 2 rakat. That's extra. But minimum 54 rakat, every day I offer. Rarely, okay. Maybe Sunnat Muqaddam, when I go to KL, I may not offer. So, yes, if the Prophet says, or Allah, our Creator says something, I want to follow with the higher level. So I'm an extremist. But if you mean extremist, a person who harms innocent people, who is dishonest, then I'm not an extremist. You understand? No?
Okay.
So people have different conception. Extremist means, he is, what the Quran says in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, 171, La taglu fi dinukum. Do not commit excesses. So one is extreme, one is excess. For example, fasting is good. Okay? But then if I say, I will not eat for 24 hours, that's excess.
Okay.
I will not eat for 24 hours into 7 days. To 7 days, that's excess. So one is extreme means following to the highest level. But if you go overboard, that's called excess. So I'm not a person who's excess.
Okay.
I'm extremist.
Right.
Extremist means going to the level which is permitted. I know definition extremist means, trying to follow something more than what is required. No. That's the definition maybe of some people. But if you know English language, extremist means going to the extreme.
Okay.
So there's no harm in going to the extreme. Allah says, La taglu fi dinukum. Do not commit excesses. So fasting is good, but if I don't eat for 5 days continuously,
it's wrong.
It is excessive.
It's excess.
And Allah doesn't allow that. So I don't do excess thing, I do extreme. Means you can give charity 2%, 5%, 10%, okay. Hazrat Abu Bakr gave 100%. That's not excess.
Okay.
That is extreme level of his level. I'm not giving 100%, you understand?
Yeah.
So, I'm an extremist. I'm extremely simple. What is wrong?
But it's good.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm good.
That's right.
That's something.
But why government in India claim you like a bad person?
Why do government label me as a terrorist?
Like a bad person.
Why? Yes, correct. I agree. The reason is because in India, I used to give dawah.
Okay.
And while doing dawah, I became popular not only among the Muslims, I became popular even among the non-Muslims. If I was only popular among the Muslims, there's no problem with the government. Non-Muslims started loving me, especially the Hindus. Because approximately, you could say more than 75% of the Indians, they're Hindus.
Okay. And they
love me.
Oh.
So when they attend my lecture, they hear my lecture for 1.5 or 2 hours. In the question answer session, they tell me, in 40 years of my life, I did not learn about Hinduism as much as I learned in 2 hours of your lecture. So they start praising me. They start following me. They start appreciating me. Some of them even come and touch my feet. I said, no, it's haram. Bowing down to me, even with respect. In Islam, it's not permitted. So, because they started loving me, and many of them started accepting Islam in large numbers, thousands. It's available on the TV. So now this government, new government, That is it. So they normally did not like that I'm spreading Islam and people accepting Islam. So because of that, they started doing allegation. And today an allegation is very easy. And that's how, when they started doing allegation, I had to do hijrah from Bombay. And mashallah, there were more than 15 countries that called me and said, come and live here and all. And I chose Malaysia. Therefore, I did hijrah in 2016. And mashallah, I chose to live in Malaysia.
Okay. I'll read the paper, the article that you're involved with another terrorist. Give a donator, give a support. Is it right?
Nonsense.
Okay.
All fabrication. I've not given a single penny to any terrorist organization or terrorist.
Okay.
They're just fabrication. Just put in the newspaper or just to malign. No. Is there any proof?
I don't know.
So when anyone, see, one more thing, when anyone gets any news, Allah says in the Quran in Surah Hujurat chapter 49, verse number 6, whenever you get information, you check it up before you pass it on to the second person.
Okay.
If you don't, you are responsible if the information is wrong.
Okay.
You understand, no?
Yeah.
You can say it like how you asked. I heard. Can you clarify? That's okay. But the moment you repeat the information without saying anything, even you are sinning. Because you are repeating without checking.
Okay.
You understand, no? So there are many allegations against many people. The maximum allegation in the world is against the beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The maximum allegation against any human being in the world is against our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because you are the most popular person. So the more popular you are, the more famous you are, you have more people speaking against you.
Okay. So how you get a patient person so ikhlas, right?
Sorry?
Ikhlas.
Ikhlas.
When someone call you a terrorist, but in India they call you an extremist, and you go here and you got ikhlas. How get?
It is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who helps us and guides us. It is because we love Allah and we read the history of the Prophet, the seerah of the Prophet. That if you compare his life to our life is like paradise in this world. And the next world, of course, he'll go on the highest level. So he had so many difficulties. If we compare to his difficulty, the allegation he had is thousands of times more the allegation we had. He was called the same. He was giving so many allegations. Oh, he's doing for money, he's doing for power, blah, 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 blah. They even bribed him. We'll give you the wealth in the world. He said, you put the sun in my right hand, moon in my left hand. I will not stop my message of Tawheed. Okay. So, when we read the seerah of the Prophet and the Khulafa Rashidin, the first four caliphs of Islam, and the Sahabas, the atrocities that were done against them, compared to us, it's nothing. So we thank Allah that Allah is, mashallah, our test is much easier than the test of the prophets, the test of the Khulafa Rashidin, the test of the Sahabas. When they did hijrah, they had to cross the desert. Some went on foot, some went on camel, and people were chasing them. I went in a plane, air conditioned, correct? My hijrah was so simple, correct? I used to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Tahajjud in India that, Ya Allah, let my life and my wealth be sacrificed for you.
Wow.
Every night.
Every day.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard half my dua. When I did hijrah, I left my wealth behind. But my life is yet pending. We are praying Allah that my life also be sacrificed in the way of Allah. We left all our wealth. I had given a small loan to someone, he returned back. And then we started business again, Allah again blessed me. Okay. So all my wealth, huge amount, I left behind. So I'm happy that Allah heard my dua, half my dua. Because if my wealth is sacrificed for Allah, what better thing than, maybe there's an earthquake and all my house is destroyed, correct? There may be a flood. Here it's gone in the way of Allah. I being a da'i, the people who are enemies of Islam, they took control of it. I'm happy that my wealth has gone in the way of Allah, 100%.
I want to ask you about Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, and something like that. but maybe next time at Jakarta, we will talk about that completely.
This is not my specialty. I'm a Dai. I'm not a specialist in
Just a discussion.
Al-Qaeda. See, you have to discuss in things in which you are a specialist.
Okay.
Allah says, "Fas'alu ahli zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun." Ask the person who knowledgeable. Surah Isra, Surah Nahl, chapter 16, verse 43. Surah Anbiya, chapter 20, verse 7. So ask on my specialty, dawah,
Okay.
or something about non-Muslims, or how to know them. Al-Qaeda is a terrorist or not, this is not my specialty.
Okay.
And if it's not my specialty, if I don't do research, I should not speak about it.
Why you love so many love debate? If I'm not mistaken, you asked for Pope debate. Is it right?
No, I never asked a debate with the Pope. It is Sheikh Ahmad Didat, the person who inspired me. He had challenged many years back when he was alive for the Pope to debate with him. I have not challenged. He has challenged.
He has challenged.
He had challenged the Pope.
Oh, okay.
Of course, the Pope won't accept. Even if I challenge, Pope won't accept. So it is for me, it doesn't make sense to challenge the Pope. We don't accept it. Why should he?
But I heard that you like to debate to non-Muslim or something.
There was a time when debate was required. Many years ago when Sheikh Ahmad Didat in the 80s and 90s, and when I started my dawah, in the early 90s I started dawah. That time the Christian missionaries used to come and knock at the doors of the Muslims and attack them. They used to use the Quran against them. So to prevent that, yes, I have to come and but now the strategies have changed. So at that time, if you see in my early days of dawah, in the 90s, mid-90s, early 2000s, I did a lot of debates.
Okay.
Now, I'm willing to debate, but I have a criteria.
Okay.
I have a criteria that anyone who can get, my largest gathering in the world is in India, 1 million people in one sitting, live. I want to give a bigger audience in Indonesia. I hope the organizers get that. So in India, my largest gathering is normally 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. But 1 million, more than 1 million is the largest gathering. So I tell anyone who wants to debate with me, many people don't debate me to get famous. Even if they lose, they get famous. So now my criteria is anyone who can get at least 2% of my largest gathering. If he can gather 20,000 for his individual lecture, not from a conference. For me, when I gave an individual talk, no one else spoke. That time 1 million people came. So if anyone who can gather minimum 20,000 people for a talk, individually, not in a conference, not in somebody else's function, if he can get, that means he's worth debating. And there are hundreds of non-Muslims. There are many Christians. There are many Hindus who can get 50,000, 100,000.